again.
Here we are in the executive office.
That's right, the executive office here at First Presbyterian Church of Glasgow, Kentucky.
With Dr. Charlie Evans.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly correct, but I'll take the compliment.
Yes. Hello, everybody out there.
We thought we'd give you a bit of a different point of view, different view of the church even.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we filmed from this office, have we?
I don't believe so. We've done a couple of commercials with you at your desk, last year, but or the year before. But no, I don't believe so.
Well, this is the pastor's office, and we're going to try to do a different twist today. We're going to do the whole 30-minute service from start to finish.
No wardrobe changes, no makeup, no effects.
No makeup, no wardrobe, and no second takes.
Nope.
We're going to roll right through it. And so we're glad you joined us. This is what we call in church circles now, as you know, ordinary time.
Correct.
Right? We're through with Christmas.
Advent is completed.
It's done. Epiphany's done.
Right.
But
very nice service, by the way.
Oh, thanks. It was good.
And if you weren't here, we missed you.
We did miss you. The three wise men took us out of Christmas very well.
Mm-hmm.
But folks have renamed ordinary time so it sounds better. So now we call today the second Sunday after Epiphany.
Right.
Which sounds better than ordinary time.
Than ordinary
right?
time.
So,
yeah, that sounds so bleak.
It does sound kind of droll.
And in Kentucky, it is kind of ordinary time. No beautiful flowers outside. The trees are all brown. The grass is brown. Yeah. So it is ordinary time.
It's ordinary time until the SEC tournament comes.
Right.
Then things pick up a bit.
Pick up, yep.
Hey, we're missing someone today, aren't we?
We are. Our dear friend Harrison is not with us today.
Harrison is out sick this week. He's not behind the camera today. But he did give us an assignment today.
He did, and this is kind of fun. I like this.
Yeah.
Fill us in.
Tell
us what's going on.
This is Harrison's idea. So I have here in front of me a figurine that's called a Funko Pop. And so if they come in varieties of personalities.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, Funko Pop. And so what Harrison has decided to do is to have a contest each recorded service. We have embedded somewhere in the scene around us a Funko Pop. Not this one.
Up your sleeve.
Not here, but somewhere. And if you can locate it and find it and see it, we're going to put a special email in the comment box for you to email the location of the Funko Pop within 48 hours of the service. And among all those that see it and correctly identify where it's at, one of you who correctly identify it will get a gift certificate from Chadwick and I, right?
That sounds fun.
It does.
Now, specifically, Funko Pops, if you're wondering what is that, well, it's kind of like a modern day caricature of, you can get them from the Addams Family, and you can get them Little Red Riding Hood. A lot of them are like avatars, gaming, characters from gaming systems.
True. Can we get some of you and I, you think?
We might need to contact the company or wait on them to contact us.
They got our number. But if you can find it, there's an email in the contact box or the comment box. Email it. You may win our first prize this week. So what about that?
So it's somewhere here in the set today. So
it's
you
here.
May have to zoom in.
And it's not this one, so I'm going to remove that. But we're here for another purpose besides giving away a gift card.
Right. And thanks, Harrison. That's a great idea. I think that's fun.
It is fun. Bring some fun to the set. But we're also here to share the gospel message.
The good news.
The good news. And today there is a passage of scripture that we're going to read that's well known. In fact, I may just go ahead and read it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a scripture, a passage that most of you have heard time and time again in your life. And even if you're not a church person, you've probably heard of it, whether referred to humorously or comically. When I was a child, it was always kind of a threatening message about alcohol.
Right.
So jump in, share the scripture with us.
We're going to read John chapter 2, and to give you all a minute to find it, John chapter 2, It is the turning the water into wine.
Right.
This was the first miracle of Jesus. And I got a story behind this passage. You know, folks here at church know that my dad was in the wine business, right? He sold wine and liquor for 40 years.
Folks here at church know. Folks in South Central Kentucky know.
Yeah, that's right.
Folks in the tri-state area know.
He had a good business.
Good old Chuck Evans.
That's right. But when he died in 2010, at his funeral service, I was thinking, what could I read from Scripture to match up his life? And of course,
did you go to John chapter 2?
I did.
Really?
Yeah. At my dad's,
you never told me that.
At my dad's funeral, I read John chapter 2, the story of Jesus turning water. And I forget my exact take on it, but that was a scripture that I used. So for me, whenever I read John chapter 2, it has a special meaning. Personally, for me, that's the passage I read at my dad's funeral. So, but it's got lessons for all of us, doesn't it?
Sure, it
does. I'll read through it. John chapter 2. This is the wedding at Cana. Weddings are fun, and here's what happened at this wedding. This is actually also the first miracle of Jesus Christ.
The first one mentioned in the Word. You're right.
It is. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine gave out, or when the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to Jesus, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. That's a lot of liquid.
Big container.
It is, isn't it? So Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, Jesus did, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. When the steward tasted the water that had become wine and did not know where it had come from, though the servants knew who had drawn the water, the steward called to the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guest had become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. And that's the miracle. We often hear the expression turning water into wine, even in non-church circles. That's a well-known phrase.
Sure.
And that's where it comes from. The thing about that always that strikes me, Jesus turned that water into wine, right? And it was good wine, wasn't it? Remember the
top shelf?
It was top shelf wine. Yeah. The steward took the wine and tasted it and was amazed. He was telling the bridegroom, "Look, most people serve the cheap stuff or the good stuff
up front,
but you kept the good stuff to the end." And I was thinking about that and how Jesus, in this miracle, gives the very best, right? Top shelf, like you say,
and plenty of it.
And 30
Not
gallons.
just as in our mind when we were young people. Oh, he took a container of water and
30 gallon,
wow.
30-gallon jugs and 6 of those.
6 of those.
It's 180 gallons of wine, plenty of it, and it was top notch. But Jesus did not turn the water into Boone's Farm. It was the good quality.
A lot
wine.
of you will relate.
Yeah, Boone's Farm was not good, but this was good wine, and it reminds me today that Jesus gives the very best, not just in wine, of course, but in everything Jesus did. It was the very best. When we read about his healings, we've never read where Jesus just halfway heals somebody, do we? It's always a full restoration.
All the way.
Or someone had 2 or 3 problems. He didn't just heal one thing and let the other 2 go. It was a complete healing. And Jesus does that. He gives us the very best, wholeness, fullness, top quality, top shelf.
And it's not to benefit just him, it's to benefit everyone involved.
Right. And in fact, after you say that, which reminds me of the feeding of 5,000, speaking of the benefit of everybody involved, he didn't just feed the people enough just to keep them full just for an hour or two. They were stuffed.
And had leftovers.
They couldn't finish all of it. Once again, Jesus gives the very best. And has always done that and always will. And so I think that one lesson I take from this is that in our walk of faith with Jesus Christ, expect it. We get the very best from Jesus Christ. But in my years of ministry, I've had people tell me, they'll say, well, Reverend Evans, if that's so, if Jesus always gives me the best and gives the best, why am I not getting it? And you know people the same way that will say, like with their job, for example.
Right.
They'll say, well, my job, I hate going in. I don't like who I work with. I dread Monday mornings. I'm so thankful Friday at 4 o'clock to get out of there. Why isn't my job the best?
Right.
You know, people.
Why is my car always? Why is my home? Why is my family life?
Exactly, right. Why is my family life not as smooth or the best as my neighbors or my friends? And people have that question. I think about a lot of times folks have even asked me about even their friendships, how they seem to say, my friends always betray me or they don't help me when I need them. Why aren't my friends the best? I hear that a lot. And I thought about that, Chadwick, how people, Jesus wants to give us the best, but a lot of times people aren't receiving that. And so I have an idea why. I have 2 ideas why. I'll share them with you.
We're all waiting.
Yeah. Wait till you hear these. I think one reason why people don't receive the best when Jesus is giving the best is because Jesus has to be invited, right? We read this gospel lesson. Jesus did not crash this wedding. He didn't just show up, right?
Like Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, he wasn't like Cousin Eddie, just showing up. He was invited. He was asked to be there, and his mom and his friends. He was asked to be there. And so I think about the people that say, like you said, my family's not the best, or my job's not the best, or my friends aren't the best. And I wonder, and I ask myself, well, if that's you, have you invited Jesus to those places?
Have you left out a very important ingredient?
That's right.
In the mix.
That's right. Because I do think that Jesus comes at our invitation.
Right.
Like you say, he's not Cousin Eddie. He's not going to just barge
Doesn't force himself. Yeah.
Right. He's not going to just barge into our life or into our job or family uninvited.
And some of the people in our life that we enjoy the most are those who don't force themselves. They're just available to us.
They're on standby.
Sure.
If you need them, they're there. Always, and I think Jesus the same way.
Right.
So I tell people that if you're not getting the best, then have you invited Jesus into these areas? And that's just a question. I think it's a fair question. But I think sometimes too there's a second little thing that God does to us. And that sometimes, it happens to everybody, I know we could tell a story and have, about obstacles we faced or difficulties in our path or hardships that we've had to work through. And by working through them, these obstacles or difficulties end up being some of the best things that ever happened to us.
We've all heard those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
Make us stronger, better, wiser.
Right.
More loving, more kind, because we went through something that was difficult.
Right. And those hard times sometimes are the best things that can happen to us.
Correct. And people will often say, I wouldn't change a thing. Now, when I was going through it, oh boy. But now I wouldn't change a thing.
I'm going to tell you, since Harrison's not here today, I'm going to talk about him for a minute. Not that he won't see it, but...
How Presbyterian of you.
Yeah, how very Presbyterian. But Harrison, as you know, when I worked at Madisonville at the church there for 54 weeks, he worked with me.
Right.
You know, he worked with me the whole time I was there. And somehow or another, I think he made more money than I did. I don't know how that happened.
He's a smart guy.
He's smarter than I am. But the first month on the job, I gave Harrison a job to do that I knew he couldn't do it. It was an impossible task. But I asked him to do it because I wanted to see how he would respond to it, if he would try to work through it, or just how he would react. He did very well with it. And from that, we got a lesson, he and I both, you know, on how we work together. But it took that obstacle for us to kind of figure out, you know, how do we approach other obstacles ahead of us.
How are you to grow if there are no obstacles?
That's right.
The birds would never leave the trees.
They couldn't.
Right.
And I think God does that to us sometimes, you know, gives us a obstacle.
Right.
Because God knows if we can get through that, on the other side of it is our lesson. And too often, what do we see? We just see the obstacle, don't we? We don't see the lesson to learn from it.
Can't see the silver lining just beyond the cloud. Yeah, you're right.
And Jesus is always there, just hovering around.
There, with the very best in store.
With the best in store, you're right.
Right.
So I think I kind of sum up this message, or this passage, by saying, you know, Jesus does want the best for us, gives the best. We have to invite Jesus. He doesn't come uninvited. And if you're facing an obstacle in your life, or a difficulty, or a challenge, see it for what it is. Maybe it's a lesson. Jesus is still there. Invite him. But know that God is always present with us. And at the very end, there always is the very best. I do believe that.
And eventually, we can learn not only to invite divine into our life when we need it, but to keep it engaged all the time.
You're right. That's right. That constant engagement makes every day that day of plenty. Right. Even though...
And makes those difficult times a lot easier when you know that's already engaged, that strength.
That's right, because nothing in the world can take that away from us.
Right.
If we have that daily engagement and that daily satisfaction, the world can never snatch that from us.
Right.
It'll try.
There's a peace that you can always maintain if you keep that engaged.
Right.
So, great. That's a great lesson from the Word.
And I'm going to give it again Sunday morning. So if you're watching this right now, live in person, we have a special event today at church.
We do.
Do you know what it is?
I do.
Well, what is it?
We are having 3 new members.
Exactly.
Join us today at First Presbyterian Church.
Yes, we're going to welcome 3 new members to our church family and have a potluck afterwards.
Food.
So if you can't be with us today, you know, just know
people
you're
are at home
welcome.
right now grabbing their pocketbook and their coat. I've got to get down there.
That's right. If you're watching this at 10 o'clock, if it's about 10:30 now, and you could be here by 11 and time to eat. So come on down right now. Come on down right now. If you're watching by Electric Plant Board, which comes on at 11:30, you missed it. So don't.
There may be leftovers, but doubtful.
Doubtful with this crowd. But we're excited about welcoming new members on Sunday.
That's always exciting.
And I'm excited about...
We've welcomed lots of members in the last 2 or 3 years.
You know, we have. I was actually counting that one time. I think the 3 now may get us up to 30, almost 30 new members the past 3 years. So
that's unheard of in modern churches.
It is,
you know,
yeah.
Especially in smaller communities.
That's true. We've been blessed. And hope to add you to the mix. If you'd like to come visit with us, please come see us 10 o'clock any Sunday.
Right. And if you're one of those people that watches this on YouTube or on the Glasgow, the Electric Plant Board, we're thrilled that you do that. You know, we're not disappointed that you're not here live. Sometimes you just can't be here, but we always love seeing your face.
We do. And we do know you're watching also, so we appreciate that. This Bible, speaking of weddings, is a special Bible because this is my wedding Bible. And it's my wedding Bible. Yeah, you've seen it a few times. I've got the wedding vows typed into the back and taped in here. And I got the exchange of the rings, you know, words in here. So this is my Bible I use every time there's a wedding because I got my cheat sheets in the very back.
Excellent.
You know? So the weddings are exciting, and the wedding that Jesus went to was exciting. I'm sure it got more exciting once they got the 180 more gallons of wine, you know.
So you
delivered.
brought out the wedding Bible for the
Right.
wedding scripture.
The wedding Bible, the wedding scripture. So, but that's the message for today.
Well, you've done your thing.
I have.
Some of you know what I do. I'm going to do my thing.
You gonna play a piece of
I'm
music?
going to play a piece, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes to say goodbye.
Sounds good to me.
Well, Charlie, did you hear me from all the way in here?
I could hear you through the walls.
Just sitting here looking at a Funko Pop and
Playing-
listening to good music.
Playing with my toys while you were playing your music, but it did sound great out
Well, I
there.
appreciate that. I love playing the piano. I love music. You love music.
I do. Music's
Charlie,
great.
Charlie usually has music going here in his office.
I do.
We just didn't have it going because we didn't want to get copyrighted. So
That's right.
or
No copyright infringements this
Infringements,
week,
yeah.
anyway.
Uh-huh.
That's for sure. But those of you watching, if you're on YouTube, we do need your help. Subscribe. We're still about 10 short of 100.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can sign in and subscribe, it helps us. Comment, and you'll see in the comment section the email if you have discovered and seen in the background where this other Funko Pop is. Email the location, and you could win a gift card from us.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And depending on who wins it, it may be Starbucks, maybe Dairy Queen. What else can we?
And if you're not hip on finding Funko Pops, call your son or daughter or your grandson, your niece, nephew. They'll help you find
Yeah.
it. They can look at this set up right now, and they will cue in on
They'll
there.
find it real
and
quick.
email it to us. Yeah, we'll get something, a fun gift certificate.
We will.
So.
We'll make it fun for you. But you got 48 hours to do it.
Right.
A week from Sunday, or next Sunday, is a special day for us here. I want to announce it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Or you
Relative to the String Academy. Tell us
right.
what's happening that day.
2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right about this time, we had what we call an investiture service for our very first and only String Academy ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal was, and it's Jackson Bauer, who served very well for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The deal was, when he was ready to pass the baton, he could pick his replacement.
Correct. And he's a senior.
He's a senior.
At Glasgow High School.
Ready to move on to bigger and better things. He's ready to pass the baton.
And he has made a choice.
He's made a choice. He has. And we hope you can come next Sunday to see it. It's an event that happens rarely.
We won't say that it's comparable to the coronation, but it's pretty close.
It's not like that. It's not like that exactly. But it's the best we could do.
And it is exciting.
It is very nice.
Exciting.
And Jackson will also play his closing piece on the cello to close out his term as ambassador, and will welcome our next youth. The ambassador of the Academy, their job is twofold. They are the public face of the Academy. They give presentations, speeches, commercials, but they also are a player of quality that can help with rehearsals and those kind of things.
And they play often during our worship services.
Yes. So we're going to pass the baton to the next youth. It's going to be a big event. Hope you can join us then next Sunday. And what else do we have going on? I think that's...
Well, happy birthday to all the people who just had a birthday. I know Adria had one.
Right.
And then coming up this week, so we're hoping for pretty weather.
Right. Hope for nice weather.
And if you want snow, we hope it snows at your house. Not at my house.
Right. You can have our share of the snow if you want it.
But there's lots of fun things coming up in the next few weeks, few months here at First Presbyterian as spring comes on.
That's true.
And Easter will be rolling around. We hope to have more and more special musicians joining us, not only vocalists, but also instrumentalists. We will probably be having another, last year we invited Lee to give his testimony.
Right.
We may have another invited testimonial sometime in the next coming 2 or 3 months. So
that'd be exciting. It's good to
things
get a
that'll be
good
happening.
personal touch from somebody about how the Lord's affected their life. So we hope you can join us again. Come see us. You're always welcome.
Absolutely.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. Gladly welcome.
Absolutely. But until next time, I guess we'll see everybody.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Yeah, there you go.
We're glad. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Take care.